Hi everybody, my name is Julie Keefe. When I'm with Caldera, and I'm with you right now, I'm thinking about you all the time actually. My name is Sister JRae. Years ago, I had this idea because I was meeting you, all of you from Central Oregon and from Portland. I loved your voices. I loved hearing what you had to say. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if we introduced the world to the kids of Caldera? And I created this project called Hello Neighbor. And Hello Neighbor was meant to help everybody get to know what kids thought. And I'm going to show you some of those projects right now. So here we have, I'm going to be the next LeBron James. This is a kid right here in Portland, which is where I'm from, by the way. Another person named Wookie. Some of you know Rocker. Rocker's a great spoken word artist. And Esme, she was from Madras. This is Johnny and his friend. They went to school at H.B. Lee. Over here is Nathan. Nathan went to a school in Southeast Portland. Up there is Kyle from Terrebonne and Miracle from Madras. This is Mercedes. And this is one of my favorite Hello Neighbor posters. Mercedes says, "My mind has a lot of strength and it's really powerful. And I know your minds do too." I thought it would be awesome if we continued this project with you. I mean, you're at home right now, right? This is a really unusual time in our lives. What about if we recorded some of your voices and you told us what's happening in your life? Now, I know not everybody has a camera like this, but a lot of you have cell phones or access to some sort of recorder. And if you don't, then I'm going to ask maybe that you get to write these things down. I mean, you're stuck at home. How about getting to know the people you're living with right now on a little deeper level? So now I'm over here in this interview spot, and I'm going to introduce you to this person I'm going to interview. So if you're at home, just sit in a comfortable place, offer them a cookie. Would you like a cookie?
I would love a cookie, thank you.
You're welcome. And then begin. So I always have pen and paper, and then watch how I do this. I've interviewed like thousands of people at this point with the students of Caldera. And one of the things we do is we listen rather than interrupt. So I'm going to do my best to not interrupt. Hooha. So, hey there, what's your name, and can you spell it for me, please?
Hi there, my name is Hooha, and that is spelled H-O-U-H-A.
Okay, I just have to ask, that is your camp name, but it's also...
Yes, that is my camp name, but that is also my last name. It's Czechoslovakian.
My favorite question is always, what's your favorite, pancakes or waffles?
Ooh, I really enjoy the texture and sensation of eating waffles when they're done right, but more often than not, they're not done right. So, to play it safe, I prefer pancakes.
What's your favorite quarantine activity? Since we're all in this together, what do you do when you just have to chill out and kind of get away from everybody? Can you tell me?
Yeah, of course. One of my favorite things in general, especially now that we're stuck inside all the time, is kendama, which is essentially a sort of ball in a cup type of game, but the ways in which you can play with it are limitless. So this is a really positive growth activity that I spend a lot of time with already, and now this is just a great opportunity to play it more.
Do you feel like you've gotten better over the quarantine?
I have learned some of the hardest tricks I know now since quarantine.
Can I see you do it? Wow, that's really cool. I was wondering, do you have a favorite place, and can you tell me about it?
Sure. Yeah, I would have to say my favorite place is a little tiny piece of land about 10 square feet called Potato Bug Point. And that little patch of land happens to be hundreds of feet above the ocean on the Oregon coast, right near Lincoln City. And I spent years going there with my summer camp, Camp Westwind, or also with my family, just on family hikes.
Do you have a favorite memory from childhood or about the neighborhood you grew up in?
The kids in my neighborhood and I used to hang out all the time, and we found a refrigerator box, a cardboard box for a refrigerator. And this was large enough to play inside, so we basically made a small fort out of it. and even went as far as to cover it with a waterproof tarp and stored our candy in there. The parents in the neighborhood let that go on for a couple weeks before one morning that cardboard box was gone.
Can you remember a time when you faced a challenge or a struggle in your life? And can you tell me about it?
A large struggle and challenge that I had growing up was having to learn that my incompatibility with how arts and other subjects are taught in traditional school system doesn't necessarily mean that I wasn't capable, but simply I wasn't aligned with how it was being taught. And so it took me years of getting terrible grades and barely scraping through even art classes, yet I still took as many art classes as possible regardless of a grade. And it took me years to get through that and to learn in adulthood that it wasn't me but the system. And to have other means of exploring creativity really helped me a lot once I got out of the grade school.
Mm-hmm. I just have to tell you guys, I've been hanging out with Hooha for a week because we've been in quarantine together. And me just finding out about Potato Bug Point, hundreds of feet above the ocean, which sounds super scary, and then hearing that he likes waffles better or pancakes better makes me want to try to make the perfect waffle for him. And then also that you had this struggle. Like, I see you as a really creative person, and I'm sorry that you had a hard time with teachers that didn't understand you. So thanks you guys for listening to this part. And I want to show you a couple other things about photography. This is Esme, and notice how she's not looking at the camera. Sometimes it's cool to photograph people from the side and have them looking out. That's kind of a nice way. And then it leaves room for their handwriting. I love hers. It says, "I don't judge people by how they are on the outside." I'm going to show you how we do that. Now, if you're only using a cell phone, so you would, come down to like the dog's eye view, and you'd say, "Hey, Esme, can you look over here at my hand? Don't look right into the camera." And then as she's looking that way, you can try it, try a couple, and you can get closer to her, farther back, move around, maybe even get up at her eye level. You could try, maybe you want her to look up at you. So you'd come down like this, and she'd look up at you, or she'd come down, right? That was the dog's eye view when I was looking at her from here. Right now, the camera is looking down at me. That's called the bird's eye view, right? And then snake's eye view is when you're on your belly down here, right? And you can get some awesome pictures like this. So I always remind kids that, bird's eye, dog's eye, snake's eye. Now I know most of you are inside, so there's other things you can do besides, you can put people close to a window, like I am right here. Notice how the light changed a lot when I got closer to the window, and then I went back here and I'm in the shadow. So think about where light is on someone's face. That helps make the photograph better. If once you get done, with the Hello Neighbor interview, you pick out like a sentence that's going to really fit that person and photograph them thinking about that sentence. Maybe you're interviewing your grandma and she really likes cooking, and so maybe you could photograph her in the kitchen. My last thing that I'm going to tell you is I've been having fun doing caption contests. So sometimes I'll just take a photo and text it to one of my friends, and I'll say, "Hey, can you give me a caption for this?" And so maybe you have an annoying brother, and that brother likes to study bugs. So you could take a photograph like this just in your own house and, send it to somebody and say, "Hey, can you caption this?" Or maybe you could caption it yourself. That's just a fun thing. And you can do that with anything in your house. You could make things look really weird, really close up. Maybe you have a little brother or sister that's driving you nuts during this time. You could do a close-up and have a bunch of fun with that. All right, this is one of my favorite pictures to end on anything on, and it has been really fun hanging out with you guys. I'm gonna send more tips your way, hopefully, and I just want you to send things back and share your lives with us. Make sure somebody interviews you, and I wanna hear all about it. Okay, thanks. Bye.